Welcome to the Clause YouTube channel.
Together, we strive for a safer, secure, and more stable world.
Hello and welcome to Strategic Frontlines, the YouTube channel of Center for Land Warfare Studies. Today we have a special guest with us on a special program, Lieutenant General Rakesh Kapoor, Deputy Chief of the Army Staff, IS&T. A very warm welcome to you, General Kapoor. General Kapoor has had a splendid career. He was commissioned into the 63 Cavalry, one of the most reputed regiments of our Indian Army. Thereafter, he commanded the 44 Armored Regiment, also known as the Roaring Fourth. And then he has had thereafter a career which any military officer would be proud of. He is a graduate of the US Army War College. He has been the defense advisor to the government of Botswana. He has thereafter commanded 12 Rapids and then thereafter commanded the 12 Corps. He's also been the DG Capability Development of the Indian Army before he actually took over as the Deputy Chief IS&T of the Indian Army, which means Information Systems and Training. Once again, a very warm welcome to you, General Kapoor.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, for inviting me to the Center for Land Warfare Studies. It's always a privilege to be here, sir. Thank you so much.
So before the audience listen to his so many duties which he performs, I would like to introduce him to you all. He has had a splendid career, military career. He was commissioned in the 63 Cavalry, one of the most historical regiments of our country and the Indian Army. Thereafter, he commanded the Roaring Fourth, or what you call as 44 Armored Regiment. And then he has had a tremendous career. Just to name a few milestones of his career, he is a graduate of US Army War College. He was the defense advisor to the Botswana government, and that's hell of a lot of responsibility. And then thereafter, within the armed forces or within the army, he has had a number of tenures in all kinds of terrain and operations. He commanded the 12 Rapids, which is on our western front, and he also commanded the 12 Corps, which is again on the western front, some kind of a western front specialist. So I'm sure Munir must be kind of worried man with such people heading our various institutions of the Indian Army. As I told you, he looks after the information systems, training, but more importantly, technology. And that is something which is changing the battlefield of the tomorrow. So you couldn't have asked for a person better than General Kapoor for this podcast. So once again, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So I will straight away dive into the question answer sessions. So what I'm going to do is that the first question is, since technology is the flavor of today and tomorrow's battlefield. So my first question is related to how do you visualize the future battlefield and how are the technologies keying into this particular battlefield? So first give us an overview of the global environment, how various conflicts are taking place and where does this future battlefield and the technologies marry up. So over to you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Very, very relevant question. I think this is bothering everybody, sir. But before I answer your question, I want to just contextualize this question and how conflicts are raging across the world, sir. While multiple conflicts are taking place across the world, there are 2-3 significant aspects of these conflicts, sir. Firstly, at a point of time, we thought wars will be of short duration.
Yeah.
But when we see the current wars that are taking place, this myth has been broken. When you see the Russo-Ukraine war, now it's getting into the 4th year.
Yeah.
The Gaza conflict, it's also raging for a long time. And there are multiple such conflicts which are taking place. The duration aspect is over, sir. It's long drawn wars, and where national capacities have to be actually, to be aligned with these type of conflicts.
Yeah.
The second thing is the concept of deterrence is also changing.
Yes, I think you're right.
Earlier we thought that nuclear states don't go to battle or don't go to war, but that whole concept is changing. The concept of deterrence is changing.
Absolutely.
The other myth or the other thing which it's now wait and watch what is going to happen. Are captured territories going to be returned after the conflict or not? And this is something that we will have to watch.
Wait out the Russia-Ukraine
Russia-Ukraine war, sir.
deal, which is likely to take
Yes,
place very soon.
this is something I think the whole world is watching this.
Yeah.
So, while the character of conflicts is changing, and technology, the significant aspect of technology, technology and the military always had a symbiotic relationship, and I constantly say it at wherever I speak, that symbiotic relationship has transitioned to a conjugal relationship.
Mhm.
And while the character of conflict is changing, the nature continues to be the same, sir. It is still, conflicts are still have fog, still have friction. The type of friction may change, and the human dimension is always there.
Yes.
And humans live on land, so therefore I'm very happy to come to CLAWS, the Center for Land Warfare Studies.
Okay.
Sir.
Since you just spoke about land, I'm tempted to intervene.
Sir.
Recently, the Chief of the Army Staff said land is the currency of victory. So just elaborate on that also, so that the people get to understand, why this kind of a statement was made.
Sir, I totally endorse the chief's views on it. The land is definitely a currency of victory, particularly in the Indian context.
Yes.
Where we have a huge land border with so many neighbors that we have, and it is not negotiable to lose an inch of land as far as we are concerned.
That was the point which I was trying to highlight, that possibly even if the Russia-Ukraine war has this exchange of land
But
taking
not in our
place,
case.
Not in our case.
Not in
and
our
that
case.
is
It's
something
just
which is
non-negotiable.
non-negotiable.
We
Absolutely.
cannot lose
Absolutely.
an inch of land. So that is the thing.
And viewers, let me tell you, when we were saying non-negotiable, both of us were in sync. So that's the kind of that's the kind of stress which is there between India, Pakistan, or India, China. So therefore, our situation
Or any other neighbors.
Our situation is totally actually different,
Unique.
and it's unique.
So coming back to the technology parts.
Yeah.
So this conjugal relationship, how is it manifested in conflicts? Firstly, the concept of mass has changed to precision.
Yes.
So it's all about precision. Nobody has the appetite to take collateral damage. So it's all about precision.
Yeah.
The second thing how technology is influencing conflicts is speed. There's a need for speed.
Yes.
We are in the age of acceleration. There's a need for speed. Speed in decision making, speed in responses, speed in logistics. Everywhere there's a need for speed.
Absolutely.
Because if you are not fast enough, then you are going to get hit.
Yeah.
The third thing, sir, is the battle space itself is getting intelligentized, sir. So there is a huge amount of data centricity which is coming up.
Absolutely.
And you need a battle space which has the infrastructure to absorb this intelligentization, sir.
Okay.
Where are the data centers? Where is firstly the data? Then where are the data centers? Are the data centers on the edge? And how fast you can respond with that? The fourth aspect is this concept of depth has also changed. Okay. There are no forward edges, there are no depths, there are no flanks. Everything, not only is I want to transition this point to another thing. Not only is the lexicon and grammar of warfare changing, the battle space has changed.
Absolutely.
Firstly, there is the space which is used by everybody today. Then there are the blue skies, which men in blue generally use.
Yes.
And more they also use it beyond visual ranges.
Yeah.
And then are the air littorals, which are very closely connected to the land conflicts, the land aspect, and it's a interrelated relationship.
Yeah.
And then there's the maritime domains, and then there is the undersea domain. The undersea domain is also used by everybody, because the internet cables are there and all this. So this is what the battle space is going to be.
Yeah. So before I go ahead, I would like you to elaborate a little bit. People had heard about maritime littorals. I mean, that was a very common lexicon which was being used in warfare or in terms of describing the maritime domain. This air littoral seems to be a very new terminology which has come in. So, a little more elaboration in terms of slight details, how much is the height, and why are we insisting on this air littorals to be linked to the land also?
Very significant point you make, sir. Firstly, anything that influences the land battle is part of the air littorals, and it's connected, sir.
Correct.
And with new technologies, one of the new equipment in the battle space is these drones.
Yeah.
The drones and the land component have an interrelationship.
Okay.
And sometimes to extend ranges, you also use drones, loiter ammunition, all these kinds of equipment. So since there is a direct influence, I'm not going to start, the bandwidth or what should be the.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a different.
There can be a debate on that.
That be a different.
But as a concept, I think that needs to be clarified to the people.
Yes. So as a concept, where there is, it's actually a supporting component of the land forces. So the tactical battle area commander has to have control over that. Which are the battle spaces the land forces can go in, or where the air littorals will be shaped so that the land component can prosecute operations.
Yes. So I would say that where the land forces can directly influence
operations
faster than the others, and also they need to protect themselves. Force. One of the important consideration because of the drones is the force preservation. So therefore, I think they must have that capability of A, speed of response, and B, ability to do protection of their assets.
Sir, thank you very much. You make a very significant point about air littorals. Firstly, why has this concept of air littoral come? The singular reason why air littorals, and we are talking about air littorals, is because of the induction of drones. And drones have a direct impact on land operations. How do we prosecute war in the land domain? So how do we do reconnaissance? How do we do interdiction? How do we do force preservation? So everything that is with the tactical battle area commander has to influence. So he has to have control over this air littorals. I'm not getting into the debates, what should be the bandwidth or the distance, but it's absolutely an integral part of the tactical battle space today.
So simply put, I would say oneness of the land battle. That would be the correct assumption.
In fact, very rightly, sir, I would say unity of command is an important component to gain victory and dominance over the adversary. And the air littoral, therefore, is an integral part of the tactical battle space.
So continuing with our discussions, there are 5 key technologies, which are actually today doing a tsunami of sorts. In fact, there was a statement made yesterday in the Chanakya dialogue, and one of the speakers, and he's an authority on the emerging technologies, a professor from MIT for the last 20 years. So I grant that he has had adequate grounding in the data, which he said. He said that the technologies are doubling every 9 months. So what are those 5 key technologies which you are focusing as the Deputy Chief?
Sir, firstly, as far as the Indian Army is concerned, so firstly, I totally agree with and endorse this view, sir. The rate of change or the pace at which technologies are changing is so rapid. Sometimes we just have to, we can't even blink if you have to be relevant, sir. As far as the Indian Army is concerned, sir, Indian Army has created 16 technology clusters.
Okay.
Each of the clusters is led by a PSO, sir, Principal Staff Officers. And each of the clusters has made a roadmap. Because the rate of change of technology is so rapid, the roadmap is only for 2 years. We cannot have a very long-term roadmap.
Yes.
And we've got 6 monthly benchmarks.
Oh, lovely.
And both the chief and the vice chief take a progress on what have been the achievements in those benchmarks and where are the shortfalls.
Yeah.
And a constant audit is done as far as that is concerned. Also, we have nominated certain category A establishments, our schools of instructions, as centers for expertise.
Okay.
The third thing that has happened is this research and development fund can be employed and can be utilized by even battalion commanders.
Okay.
Because they are people on the ground, they need what needs
that
to
was
come
needed, I
immediately.
suppose.
And I'm happy to report, sir, many of the battalion commanders are using the research
Lovely.
and
I mean,
technology,
that's a pleasant
research and
change.
development fund.
That's a very pleasant change.
Because they know the need at that particular edge, what they require, sir. So as these are some of the initiatives, and plus I'll talk more about it on. We have got incubation centers.
Okay.
Established.
I mean that leads me to the next issue is that most of these technologies, whether you call it AI, cyber, EW, etc., hypersonics, you name it, drones, are having a dual use, and which requires a military-civil fusion in a.
But before coming to that, I want to answer those 5 key technologies.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
want to really answer because I want to make one point here, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
The world militaries today, world over militaries are focused on 5 technologies. So, one is space.
Okay.
There are multiple users of space, definitely space.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence, robotics, quantum, and additive manufacturing, sir. So much of 4D printing and all those things have come into this sphere, sir. And I want to make a significant point here, sir, before coming to that civil-military fusion part, sir. When you do an audit as to what is the expenditure on these technologies, sir, the United States of America spends $145 billion per annum on these 5 key technologies. The Chinese are spending about $45 billion per annum. We in India are only spending $7 billion. Actually, the technologies require investments. And now coming to the civil-military fusion parts, how are these nations spending so much of money?
Yes.
Because the military and civil are fused together.
Okay.
And that is how those nations are rising in these technologies. In India also that realization has come. Because most of these technologies, like you just mentioned, are dual-use technologies.
Absolutely.
And many times, we've been hearing this, that there is not enough R&D. Private industry does not want to do research and development because there are not mandated orders that they have. They only do it, the return on investment is very important for them. But now when you see these technologies are dual use, in a nation which is 1.4 billion and beyond, the application of these technologies are also there in the civilian sphere.
Absolutely.
The armed forces are just a component of it.
Component of it.
But like I said, there is realization today, I think, in the whole national ecosystem. And under the directions of the Chief of the Army Staff, he's putting a lot of focus on military-civil fusions. And some of the significant steps that we have taken, firstly, we are aligning with all national missions. We have members, military members, army members on these national missions. We got a member on the quantum mission. We recently got a member on Pushpak, which is the Drone India mission, sir. We also going to have a permanent member on the AI mission. So alignment with the national missions is most important, sir.
Okay.
The second thing is we have raised research cells in IITs, which are engaging with what's happening. And significantly, this year itself, we've inaugurated the Army IIT Madras research cell called Agnishots.
Okay.
And that is there in this startup complex. There's a startup complex that they have, 2,500 startups are there. And we have a commercial space there. So what is happening in this startup ecosystem and what is the military articulation is happening there, and we've got officers posted there. Okay. The other thing is we've also established an Indian Army AI Incubation Center, which also we've established in a commercial space, and we are willing to partner with anybody. That is the kind of fusion that we are looking. We also recently launched the Army internship program, where students who are
that was something very interesting.
Graduates and postgraduates can come and intern with the Army, and we are looking at technology in this thing. And I just want to report to you, sir, we initially advertised 50 vacancies, and the response was 50,000. All these bright students came,
Yeah.
and they did a excellent job. They took up projects, and we said, okay, the projects don't end here. You can come for another internship and take those projects forward. And we are also, it's a paid internship program, so we pay them 75,000 rupees at the end of the internship.
Lovely, lovely.
So the army is totally cognizant on this military-civil fusion aspect. Sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded of since we've just come out of the Chanakya Defense Dialogue, and I was kind of interacting with so many of the students. There were almost, I think, 700-800 university and college students, including people coming from IIT Madras to Delhi, from Allahabad, and so on and so forth. I was, surrounded by some of these interns whom we have just released them, and they were looking to go ahead even without waiting for the Indian Army's internship program of the next year. They showed me the video what they have worked. Somebody was working with X Corps, somebody was working with the Y Corps, and they have reached certain level of algorithms, etc. So that's a very, very kind of encouraging development which has taken place. My only concern in this is that when I interacted with them, I realized that they are looking for a, you said about speed. They are also in a hurry, and they're all Gen Z. They don't want to wait for the next. They want an immediate kind of a pursuance of their ideas. I think we need to focus on that particular issue, that people who really come up with some good ideas, they must continuously be engaged so that we come up with some game-changing technological innovations. So having said that, just to build on to what point you were giving and the kind of response which the Indian Armed Forces and the Indian Army is getting, moving on to the next question is, see, the technology is changing very rapidly. As you mentioned, the Indian Army is doing a lot of initiatives, but the proof of the pudding lies when you actually get the results on the ground. Now, for that, there is a need for a comprehensive method of induction, infusion, and absorption of these technologies, which relates to your one of the responsibility, which is training. So, can you throw some light on that as to how are we going to cope up with this speed of induction of technologies, especially given the kind of size which our Indian Army has?
Sir, very relevant point, sir. In fact, firstly, as you're aware, the Indian Army has announced a decade of transformation.
Yeah.
Because transformation takes time. So the chief has said, we started with the year of transformation in 2023. He said, no, we need to go to, the current chief said, and when he took over in 24, he said, no, we need a decade of transformation.
Absolutely.
And we were, in 24, we had promulgated that is the year of technology absorption. But then we decided, no, we need 2 years minimum. Yeah. And after that also we have to take an audit.
Correct.
How much is the lag, and continue with it. And one of the significant components of that is our human resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that our human resource has to be oriented towards technology. So the training, so the good part is, all training institutes have infused technology in their syllabus.
Good.
And this is at all levels. Relevant technology at the other rank level, at the junior commissioned officers level, at the officers courses level, there is infusion of technologies. There is also technology aspects or subjects have been added in the promotion exams. That is one way to encourage people to.
So the officers and the leaders and the commanders are enabled. I'm sure they'll be able to enable their command.
So promotion exam. Staff college itself has a huge technology component, the staff college entrance exam. Plus, we are also subscribing to niche courses overseas. If we find there is a selection procedure, if some officer is oriented to that, we take on niche courses, whether Cranfield University or any other university over, so that some of the courses are not available in India. Like quantum is one course. Yeah. ISC Bangalore is doing one odd course on that, so we are sending officers overseas for these courses. Also, our current training methodology at the field formation level has a huge amount of technology infusion into it, sir. And how are our tactics, techniques and procedures changing and adapting to these new age technologies coming into the system, sir. So the human resource has to be taken along with this. They have to be absolutely current with these technologies.
You know, a few years back, since we were on this training part of it, and it's very important factor. You would have seen in Op Sindoor, there were reports that our adversary, having been given these new equipment, was unable to actually use them effectively. So a lot of issues came up because of that, also because of which they suffered a ignominious defeat. Let me just put it this way. But just to tell the audience and beyond what Deputy Chief has already said, since this was part of the Center for Land Warfare Studies, one of the challenging tasks. So, Center for Land Warfare has teamed up with IIT Madras to evolve a army-wide officers training reorientation and you know re-establishing the entire gamut of training for the entire Indian Army officers only. In the next phase, possibly we will look at the other ranks also, our jawans also, soldiers also into this, and we have gone halfway through this particular report. Interim report has already been presented, so it's a very important aspect, and we are taking the help of civil institutions like IIT Madras. There are 5 professors who are part of this particular study. So you all can understand the kind of work which the Indian Army is already doing as far as technology, training and absorption is concerned, because ultimately the battle will be won by the person who has the best trained human resource. Technologies will come, will go, but if the humans are able to influence this particular technology well, I think the battle is there. So I'm coming now on to
the very significant point, sir, and very appropriately said, sir. And my compliments to the clause, sir, and I am aware that the NDC course is now getting an MBA Tech, sir.
Yes.
The LGSC course will also get a Tech degree, sir.
Correct.
And it's good to align these courses like this. And the most important point that you made is the human dimension of conflict will always remain.
Yeah. And just to share, because we are both connected also during our normal functioning, the person who has been actually helping us out and driving, I would say, in some form or the other, has been Lieutenant General P.R. Shankar, because of whom I could connect with the IIT, and he has also connected with IIT Delhi, IIT Madras, IIT Guwahati. I don't know how many IITs he has been moving around. So that is the kind of effort which we are putting in. Nobody is sitting in the AC offices and trying to dictate things. We are going on the ground and doing things. So coming on to my next question, these were the high points. Now, let me ask you, what are the challenges? Because that is something which is really it came out loud and clear in the Chanakya dialogue. Every panel went on and on saying that we take a lot of time to induct technology, new technology, 10 years, 11 years, I don't know what all figures were being floated around. So just highlight on the challenges of technology induction into the Indian Army.
So actually the challenges are not faced by India alone. These challenges are faced by countries across the world, sir.
Yeah.
You have to have a process in place to induct equipment into the armed forces.
Yes.
There has to be a process. There has to be, because the equipment has to perform in battle. So you cannot get fly-by-night equipment, which fails you in battle. So there has to be a process in place. Whether it's the American armed forces or the Russian armed, everybody has a process. So do we have a process. But the process today, with the current changing paradigm, has to become more agile, and the Raksha Mantri has already announced this as the year of reforms. And one of the most important focus in the year of reforms is to make the acquisition process more agile. Okay. A lot of work is happening on that sphere, sir. And everybody understands, like we mentioned, the rate of change of technology is so rapid. So the acquisition process is also becoming agile in this. Another thing which we as a nation have to propel and we have to encourage, private R&D. Private R&D is how nations rise in technology. And particularly, I reiterate, with dual-use technologies, there is already a market for these technologies. Yes. So they have to put in more and more into R&D. In any case, our R&D figures are dismal, but the private R&D figures are more dismal.
I would say that clarion call is being given to the private
Yes,
industry
sir.
to do
They
it,
have to do it.
but the private industry says we need the orders, we need
But
firm
now
commitments, etc.
the orders are there, sir. There is such a large population today. Whether you look at AI, there are so many applications of AI which are non-military, and military can just adapt and evolve to military uses. When you look at quantum, quantum is used by banking, quantum is used by railways, quantum is used by industries itself. So these are all dual-use technologies.
So I would say that process is one area which needs to be
So
influenced,
that work is on, sir, and I assure you,
and R&D is the second area which you're
most important.
today's world, there have been some key technologies which have changed the entire matrix of the way we function. And in that, the wheel was one of the things, and then steam engine became the next big revolution, and then air came onto the scene, and they are saying AI is going to be that particular change which will change not only the physical aspects of it, but the human mind also. So, do you think this is a right kind of a statement, or it's over exaggeration? Platforms are losing relevance. Such kind of statements are coming into the. Why I said this is because there is some kind of a narrative going on that the legacy platforms are losing relevance, and it's all about wrap-on technology, next generation technology. So a little bit of word about it. You're from the armored corps, so I thought I must put you on the spot on this.
Sir, firstly, I think when people are talking about AI, AI is definitely a key component which is going to be changing the way we look at things. I would not fathom to predict what is going to happen, because whenever you predict about the future, 9 out of 10 cases you go wrong.
Go wrong.
But what I definitely would like to say is that we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg at present.
Okay.
And the way AI is going to evolve, particularly the cognitive aspect, is going to be dimensional. And but we don't have to get worried about it.
Yeah.
We have to create the infrastructure, and we have to create the systems to absorb it.
Okay.
And when we look at our current fleet of equipment and everything, we cannot replace everything in one go, sir. While we will keep getting new systems in place, we have to also gradually bring all this, while we discard some of the older, but the current equipment that is there has to be made AI enabled. So the legacy systems have to be taken along.
Yeah.
And there are ways and means to do it. We are already doing, we are in the process of doing it. So we will have some high-tech equipment, some medium-range equipment, and we have to bring the legacy equipment also in this thing. As far as the cognitive space of AI is there, the way the humans will operate or employ AI is going to be very important. Humans will have to do more cognitive work. AIs are actually models. How we shape those models is going to be our higher level of cognition.
Yeah, this is exactly the point which I was trying to make, that we have to ensure that the AI is subservient to the humans and not the other way around. This has to be a constant process while we are developing this particular technology. And how is this particular technology influencing us? Coming on to your next big effort which you have been making in your career, and that has been that you are also responsible for peacekeeping, overseeing the peacekeeping operations of the Indian Army. And recently you also had a huge event on this particular issue. Connected to this, there is another question, and like I said, I'm not going to let you go so easily from this podcast. So that question is that the current geopolitics is changing very, very, rapidly and in different ways. In fact, there was one great speaker a few days back. I was hearing him in a particular seminar, and he said in Hindi कि ये राक्षसी युग आ गया है. The rules-based world order has suddenly shattered. Some people in the West are calling it as Bani world, brittle, anxious, non-linear, and you've described this in some form or the other, incomprehensible. So, do you think the peacekeeping mechanism under the UN is somewhere getting adversely affected with this? So, both the questions combined to you, it's all yours.
So, uh, so many naysayers are saying that peacekeeping is getting affected because of the way funding of the UN is going, and certain key nations are only controlling the United Nations.
Yes.
But I'd like to contextualize this also. So, firstly, one significant thing that has changed in peacekeeping, from interstate, it has become more intrastate.
Okay.
A lot of intrastate missions are there, sir.
Okay.
While earlier on, there used to be more interstate
Yeah.
peacekeeping missions. The whole concept of United Nations peacekeeping was based on collaboration, cooperation between nations
Okay.
for an enduring peace. And as far as India is concerned, we subscribe to United Nations for these very ideals. We are looking at shared prosperity, shared peace, and as you are already aware, the Indian Army only deploys overseas under the United Nations flags. We never go out of our nation without that. The mission area itself has become very complex these days. New technologies are getting infused there. Multiple narratives are being spinned out in those areas. So the peacekeeper itself is also very vulnerable. The security and of the peacekeeper itself is becoming vulnerable.
Okay.
So this is the complexity of the mission area, sir. Yes, there are some funding issues which are going on. But as far as India is concerned, we are committed to peacekeeping, sir. And what we have also done is all our battalions which get deployed into peacekeeping, we are infusing technology there, sir. We also feel that women in these conflict zones are particularly vulnerable. So we've deployed female engagement teams with all our battalions.
Right.
Also, we are looking at mental health, not only of our troops, but also people in the mission area.
Okay.
So we are putting in new techniques like yoga, etc. So we're bringing so that the mental health is better.
Okay.
We are also training our people to improve their negotiation skills, because a lot of people in the mission area have to negotiate with different factions.
Yes.
Particularly as United Nations troops. We are also improving that. Constantly, we are pledging troops. We've got a engineer company now at readiness level 60 days. In 60 days, we'll deploy this thing.
Okay.
We are changing the tenor of the kind of components we are deploying for peacekeeping, more smaller, agile, tech-oriented, sir. Now, coming down, since we are committed to peacekeeping, sir, and the world looks at India for a lot of things, sir, particularly with our capacities, sir. So we had been doing a lot of international engagements. This year in February, firstly, we did the full weeks program for women peacekeepers of the global south.
Okay.
And thereafter, we thought to increase our cooperation and collaboration. In October this year, we invited 32 army chiefs of troop contributing countries to come to some common ground how peacekeeping must go on. Sir. And to quote the Under Secretary General, Mr. Lakwa, this is the first time in the history of United Nations such an event has taken place. And the kind of cooperation that came out of it was very encouraging. In fact, we've also moving a proposal that biennially India must do this program. It also helps bringing nations together. They're looking at our capacities, particularly trading and our experiences that we've gained in UN peacekeeping. So, to cut it, to say it in one word, sir, as far as India as a nation and Indian Army are totally committed to peacekeeping and the values of peacekeeping. So,
I think that was a very relevant point which you mentioned, which also indirectly keys into the fact that since India is now likely to become the third largest economy, it has some heft, its voice is being heard, and such initiatives which are actually self initiated actions, which is that India is reaching out. speaks volumes of our international diplomacy as also military diplomacy. I think this keys on effectively into the military diplomacy portion of it. So all kudos to, I believe this was the first time, so it's your initiative.
No, sir,
And
it was
my
our-
compliments to you for this, and to the Indian Army and to the Chief of Army Staff for this. चलते चलते, क्योंकि हमारा ये उसूल होता है कि किसी भी ऑफिसर को जो कि इतने साल एनडीए आईएमए पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ से ट्रेनिंग करके वो 40 साल तक तकरीबन ही सर्व्स फॉर दैट मच पीरियड. सो व्हाट हैव बीन दोस, I won't put you into too many issues, just two golden moments of your life, military life I'm talking about, which you will cherish throughout your life, whatever balance we all have, we're all the same age group. So can you throw some light to our audience for a lighter moment?
Sir, as I am soon going to superannuate, sir, I have a lot of gratitude towards the Indian Army, sir.
Yeah.
The person I am today is all because of the Indian Army, sir. The way the Army has groomed us, taught us, and if I would put it across in 3 words, sir, the Army is totally tops.
Yes.
And it's not a word, sir, it's an acronym, sir.
Yeah.
The T is for the trust. The Army teaches us what is trust all about, sir.
Yeah.
The second thing the Army teaches us, and which is part of my acronym, is ownership.
Yes.
Own. Whatever we do, we have complete ownership of it.
Correct.
Whichever job we do, there's absolute ownership.
Absolutely.
And the P is we play hard, we also work hard, sir.
Okay.
And I think the Army has taught us all this in person. I have to express a lot of gratitude to the Army, not only from my side, but my complete family's side. Whether it's my wife or our children, we have come into this culture, and this culture will remain with us for the rest of our lives.
I think you've said a brilliant, acronym for the kind of benefit. I wouldn't say benefit. Benefit is a very, I would say, inappropriate word. The kind of person which the Indian Army has made you in this 3 letters, TTP, and mind you, it is not that TTP. It is trust, and the second word was which
I
you
said top, sir. TOP, sir.
Yeah, top. Okay, the
Top.
trust, and then
Ownership.
Ownership, and the P is for your
Play hard, work hard.
play hard, work hard, or in our days we used to call it as work hard, enjoy hard. So those were the kind of acronyms, or those are the kind of phrases which we used to use to motivate ourselves. T also means that unless you have trust in your entire organization, we have so much of trust that if something happens to me, my buddy next to me will take me out of that particular situation, and it is a reversible thing. It's not a one-way directional thing. If I'm a leader, somebody is my buddy, I'll do the same thing for him. That is the ethos which the Indian Army has. And with that brief, word about today's battlefield, what is the Army doing? How are we coping up with these challenges? And wishing General Kapoor also all the very best. Thank you very much, audience, for listening to us. And we only wish to tell you that please send out this video to as far wide as possible, because this is the way we can spread the ethos of our security forces across the entire civil domain. And then you will be able to understand actually how much goes into making such leaders like General Rakesh Kapoor. Thank you very much, General Kapoor,
Thank you, sir. It's
for
been
being
an
with
honor,
us.
sir, to be with you, sir.
Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.